This video is to show how to complete the offset, mirror, explode, and trim practice exercise. So once you've got the file loaded up, let's go ahead and look for the first instruction. The first instruction is to offset the hexagon, right in the top left corner there, a distance of 7.5 to match the following image. All right, so we're just kind of growing this hexagon that's supposed to represent this bolt here by a factor of 7.5. So I'm going to go back to AutoCAD. It mentioned the offset tool, and that's exactly what it does. It kind of grows or shrinks a particular set of geometry. Don't get it confused with scale. Scale will grow or shrink geometry, but try to keep everything intact, where offset will grow or shrink it in a way it tries to move some of the geometry in a smart, quote unquote, smart way. That's hard for me to put into words, so I'm going to show that off in class another day. For now, let's just follow along. So I'm going to go into the offset tool, which is just OF, enter. All right, it says to specify a distance here. Through is the default, okay? But I want a specific number. So I'm going to type 7.5 like it said in the instructions and press enter. It says to select the object that we want to offset. So of course that was the hexagon. So I'm going to hold my mouse over it and click. And I can offset it 7.5 growing or 7.5 shrinking. Now I want 7.5 growing. So I'm going to move my mouse. I'm going to keep my mouse to the outside of the hexagon. All right. And click. Don't press enter there or nothing's going to happen. You have to click. All right. I know it seems weird, but it is what it is. Once you're done offsetting, you can go ahead and press enter to exit the tool. And we're going to select the old hexagon and delete it. All right. Back to our instructions. We're going to mirror the bolt object to match the image below. So we're basically just copying the hexagon and the circle that makes up that bolt shape and copy it over to the bottom left corner there. So we could do a copy and paste, right? But we're going to do mirror because sometimes that's better for more complicated geometry, right? So I'm going to select my two objects here. Type in MI for mirror and press enter. Now it's going to say specify the first point of the mirror line. All right, so we want to swing this around the halfway point of this shape. So my first point of the mirror line is going to be this midpoint on the left here. I'm going to click that. You see as I swing around over to the next midpoint on this shape, it puts it right perfectly into place. All right, so I clicked on the midpoint here. Then I swing my mouse over and click on this midpoint over to the right. And when I click, do I want to erase the source object? The answer is no. All right, one thing you might have noticed, I'm going to undo that, is that I selected the objects first and then did mirror. You can do the opposite. I can type in MI for mirror. Then AutoCAD is going to ask me to select objects since I had nothing selected before I went into the mirror tool. So if I go ahead and I select those objects now, I have to press enter to move the tool along. And then it's the same thing. Select the first point of the mirror line, select the second point of the mirror line. Erase the source objects, no. And now we have our bolts have been mirrored. So I go back to the instructions. Mirror the objects with a base point of 800/775 to match the following image. So now we're basically going to mirror this whole thing, all right, along the base point 800/775. And that's important. You have to know where you're going to mirror from here because it's not as obvious as the last one. So we're going to go ahead and do that so we match what this image looks like here. So basically when we're done, we want to look at when we're mirroring something this complicated, we want something to focus on, right? We want a visual sort of base point here. So I'm going to look for this like oval, this sort of pill looking oval in the middle to see if I've done this correctly. So I'm going to go over back to AutoCAD. I'm going to do MI for mirror. enter, and select everything. All right. Press enter to move the tool along and go to 800, 775, enter. Sure enough, if I do that and I hover my mouse, I track my mouse straight up, right? Straight up. I see that pill shape I was looking for. So I know that this is accurate. I'm going to go and click here. Now that I know that I've got that correct, erase the source objects. No, we want to keep everything. And this looks pretty good. This looks like it matches the instructions. So we're on the right track. So now we're going to use the explode command on the circle blocks to erase the dashed lines and circles to match the following image. So if you look closely here, right, what's the difference? We're basically deleting these dashed lines. And it says to use the explode command, right? Because what that does is, notice how when I hover my mouse over one of these circle blocks, all of the circles highlight, all the dashed lines and the solid circle on the outside all highlights. They're one unit. What the explode command does is it breaks all of those apart into separate units. So I'm going to do EXPL for explode. EXPL, enter. Select objects. I'm going to select the two circle blocks. Now that they're both selected, I'm going to press enter, and now they're exploded. Notice how if I hover my mouse over any one of these lines, they're all separate. So it wants us to delete those dashed lines. So I'll select all of those and delete them. And see how we did. Compare that to our image here. We're looking pretty good. Oh, actually, I'm noticing there's a couple more things that need to be deleted. It looks like the yellow dotted lines have been deleted as well. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that next. Delete those. Delete those. Anything else I might be missing? That pretty much looks like it. So now we're going to trim the objects to match the following image. So we're going to trim and extend. We're trimming out everything that we don't want, and then we're going to extend these two blocks here, these two rectangles, right? Because they kind of stopped here like this with a gap in the middle, and they just want us to connect those two together. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Trim and extend command. So TR, enter for trim. And we're just going to go ahead and get rid of all the other stuff that they didn't want, which is this sort of oval pill shape. Go ahead and get rid of that. They don't want these little lines inside the rectangle. They don't want these little lines where the rectangles are going to meet, and they don't want the circle there. At least I don't think so. Let me make sure. Yeah, they don't want the circle there. And the rest of the pill ovally shape there should be gone as well. All right. So now that I'm at this point, I'm going to hold the shift key to enable extend, right? Shift or trim is its own command, and extend is its own command. They are separate commands, but AutoCAD understands that trim and extend are so closely related that they don't want you to have to escape the trim command and go into the extend command. So if you hold shift, you can select a line and it'll extend instead of trim. So I'm going to do that now. And as you can see, I have successfully extended those lines so that they all connect. All right. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to press enter to escape the trim and extend command. And go back to the image to make sure we've got everything. If you completed the exercise successfully, it should look like this. Mine does. They don't want us to erase those yellow dotted lines, the yellow dashed lines on the outside. So everything looks good here. Go back to AutoCAD. Don't forget to turn on your zoom extents button so that I can see your nice full screenshot. All right. Hope this video helped along with all my other videos, and I will see you on the next one.